Okay, this is the not resistant, core revision video. Right, so resistance in electricity, it's just about how tough it is for electrons to move along a circuit. So do remember to use that word electrons when talking about current. And there's different factors that make it more or less difficult. So we've got a sort of very much diagrammatic view here of our electrons, and they are affected by a circuit because they have to move past each of the atoms. What you need to imagine is inside any material there are lots and lots of atoms that are effectively blocking the path of those electrons. And when the atoms bump into them, that causes a transfer of energy, and in particular it's heat that we notice. And if you've been in my classroom, you know that Stumpy has a hot light in the corner, and that hot light has got high resistance. The little tiny wire inside it of that filament bulb gives out a lot of heat. And that's because the material can affect the particular resistance. But there's other factors too. So the longer a material is, once again, the more resistance there is, because the atoms ultimately have to smash past, electrons have to smash past more atoms. The thickness also affects it, and this is perhaps a little bit less intuitive, but the thinner it is, the higher resistance, because it's harder for those electrons to get along that circuit. So just remember that thinner wires have higher resistance. You might think of like a McDonald's milkshake when you drink that it's quite difficult to drink, and if you had a tiny straw, it'd be even more impossible to drink it through a really thin straw because the resistance is so high. And finally, temperature has an important impact too, because each of these atoms, they're jiggling around, they're vibrating around, and if you imagine the electrons got to get past them, well, if those atoms are vibrating more because they're hotter, it's harder to squeeze past, and so the resistance goes up. So resistance happens in all materials, and is affected by length, thickness, temperature, and finally the type of material.